Hello and welcome to the July 30th edition of the Thursday Night Thunder podcast with AJ and MMK. This is episode 49 of the series. I'm your host, Adam Jason Sinclair, and tonight on the most hardcore motorsports show on the internet, we'll be talking FIA Formula E, NASCAR, Formula One, IndyCar, and once again remind you why we're your source for the latest and greatest auto racing news on the planet. Green Savory Racing Promotions officials confirmed that next year's Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg is slated for March 5th through 7th, 2027. In conjunction with the 2027 weekend headlined by the NTT IndyCar Series, NASCAR is also announcing that the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series will make its second appearance on the St. Petersburg Florida Street Circuit, with the race set for Saturday, March 6th. Four-time IndyCar champion Alex Palou won for the second consecutive year in the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg on March 1st to open the 2026 IndyCar Series season. The first-ever NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series street race held on the temporary downtown St. Pete circuit was won by Lane Riggs on February 28th in the Omnibus Green Flag 150. Tickets for the 2027 Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg weekend will go on sale in the fall. Ongoing updates will be posted at GP St. Pete. Grand Preview Thursday highlights include F1 Academy. Guests can explore the F1 Academy paddock and watch F1 Academy, the all-female racing series showcasing the next generation of motorsport stars. Take to the track as teams and drivers prepare for the weekend ahead. A pit lane walk, where fans will have the opportunity to walk Formula One pit lane, getting an up-close look at the garages and team preparations before racing begins. Codaland before the weekend fills. Experience a no-lines day at Codaland and enjoy the fun and thrills of Austin's first major theme park before the weekend fills. Codaland admission is sold separately and is not included with the Grand Preview Thursday ticket. You can also explore the villages. Guests can explore fan villages across the property, including La Cantina, The Ranch, and Lone Star Land. You get first access to the F1 Fan Zone. Fans can be among the first to experience the F1 Fan Zone before the full weekend crowd arrives. Shop without the crowds. Guests can shop official Formula One team, COTA, Austin, and United States Grand Prix merchandise stores before the weekend rush. Tickets and access. Grand Preview Thursday is included at no additional cost for all current 3-day ticket and 3-day hospitality holders who can claim Thursday admission in advance. Fans without a weekend ticket can purchase standalone Grand Preview Thursday tickets starting at $20. The Formula One Las Vegas Grand Prix is now accepting sign-ups for fans interested in 2026 single-day tickets and, new for 2026, hospitality deposits for select premium experiences. These offerings provide fans with early access opportunities for one of the most anticipated events on the Formula One calendar, taking place November 19th through the 21st, 2026. New for 2026, select hospitality experiences will be available as a single-day ticket option, giving guests the availability and flexibility to enjoy premium views, world-class amenities, and the unmatched entertainment of Las Vegas for a single day of race weekend. Single-day hospitality experiences include the Wynn Grid Club, Trackside Tavern and Paddock Club Rooftop, Skybox with Heineken, Silver Main Grandstand, the Turn 3 Club, and Club Paris. Fans who previously placed a hospitality deposit during the initial 2026 deposit period will retain their priority access and do not need to submit an additional deposit for eligible single-day hospitality offerings. Additional details, including pricing and on-sale dates, will be announced at a later date. Fans can sign up now for updates on single-day trailer admission and grandstand tickets, or place a hospitality deposit for priority access for eligible premium experiences by visiting www.f1lasvegas.gp.com/2026-single-day-deposits. Are you a race car driver, crew chief, pit member, track owner? Maybe you're just a huge fan of the sport. Contact us to get your spot on the show. After all, these are 50 minutes of fame, and we'd love to hear from you. Last week was one of our biggest weeks ever downloads, so we appreciate all that. But we'd love to hear from you guys. Come on the show, tell us a little bit more about your experience with any form of motorsports all around the world, because we are definitely hitting all different spots in the world now, and I'm very pleased to see that. Anyway, head to Thursday Night Thunder Podcast.podbean.com for more details. You can also go to my YouTube page at youtube.com/footballplums, or you can head to Facebook at facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. Those are the easiest ways to get in contact with us. The easiest one, of course, being the Podbean page, but you can get in touch with us in multiple different ways, and we'd love to hear from you. After announcing the news during TNT Sports' live pre-race coverage of the Brickyard 400, Jimmy Johnson confirmed they will compete in the 2027 Daytona 500 with a familiar car number, the number 48, in the final NASCAR Cup Series start of anticipated accomplished careers in the history of American motorsports. The announcement follows an extraordinary gesture by Rick Hendrick Motorsports, and longtime number 48 partner Ally Financial, who've agreed to loan Johnson the Hendrick Motorsports stylized number 48 car number for its railway race with Legacy Motor Club. The move will reunite Johnson with the number most closely associated with his Hall of Fame career. NASCAR has approved the one-race loan, allowing the tribute to take place without affecting the driver or owner points standings. As a longtime primary partner of Hendrick Motorsports' number 48 program, Ally joined Hendrick Motorsports in approving the one-race loan of the stylized car number. Ally was Johnson's primary sponsor in 2019 and 2020, his final full-time season in the Cup Series. For Johnson, whose personal philosophy has become never stop starting, the significance reaches beyond nostalgia. His final NASCAR Cup Series race is not simply the end of one of the sport's greatest careers. It's one final start in the number that began it all. Mahindra had opted to set the car up for a drying surface, gambling on further rain holding off after deluge early in the afternoon. De Vries navigated a late red flag for a second win of 2025-26 and Mahindra's second of the season, a feat the team hasn't achieved since the 2017-18 season. Cassidy and Citroen made the same bet, and it paid off. The New Zealander carving his way from 13th to 2nd, and more so were after yesterday's poignant P3 finish after this Saturday's poignant P3 finish. Dennis, staggeringly, clambered from 18th to the final spot on the podium, also making it past Roland, thanks to Nissan driver's late attack mode call and marginal energy. Dennis now leads the Drivers' World Championship, as Formula E next heads to the site of his first title victory in London, and the season finale weekend. The 2026 TDK Tokyo E-Prix saw a host of both international and local stars flock to experience the thrilling action of the capital's first ever Formula E night race, including Princess Yoko of Mikasa, international model and entrepreneur Lori Harvey, acclaimed actor Melvin Gregg, and fashion icon Shinsuke Takizawa. Witnessing the pinnacle of electric racing, Olympians Yuki Ota, Lori Nolte, and Adam Amore, and Japanese TV presenter Oshima Rinon were also joined by local racing star Juju Noda and former FIA Formula E World Champion Stoffel Vandoorne, capturing all the drama of the 2025-26 season's penultimate race. Local stars 1 of 8 hit the grid ahead of the race, treating the crowd to a captivating pre-race performance. In a landmark moment for Japanese motorsport, local racing star Juju Noda took to the track in a Gen 3 Evo car. The demonstration run marked the first time a Japanese driver has driven a Formula E car in Japan, further highlighting the growing connection between the championship and the country's vibrant automotive culture. The ABB Formula E World Championship battle goes down to the wire, with all eyes now set on the 2025-26 season finale in London on the 15th and 16th of August this year. Each registration to the Grand Prix run fueled by Body Armor costs $40 and includes 2 complimentary Friday trial admission tickets to the Only Bulls Grand Prix Portland, a participation t-shirt, and commemorative running bib. Proceeds benefit Sunshine Division, a local nonprofit that has provided essential food assistance to Portland area residents for over a century. Learn more at sunshinedivision.org. Through this partnership, participants will help support the organization's ongoing mission to deliver emergency relief and combat food insecurity in the community. The Grand Prix run, fueled by Body Armor, is part of the inaugural free community party in the park, all happening from 5:30 to 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 6th at PIR. Additional features will include race cars on display, driver autograph session with some of the competitors who will be competing in that weekend's Only Bulls Grand Prix of Portland, live music, food trucks, and more. And now a word from one of our great sponsors. Mothers is proud to offer top 5 summer care tips. Rinse away bug splatter and road trip grime. Bugs, tar, and highway film build up fast on summer drives and can etch paint if left baked in the sun. This water-activated spray coating goes on dry paint, glass, trim, or wheels. No bucket, no wiping. Just spray on and hose off for an instant hydrophobic streak-free finish. Check out Mother's California Gold Ceramic Spray and Rinse, which I'm probably going to use in my truck this weekend if I'm able to get around to it and it doesn't rain too much out there. Shield paint from intense UV rays and fading. Extended sun exposure fades and dulls paint over time. A ceramic boosted spray wax aids durable, gloss enhancing better that helps repel grime and UV damage between washes. That you can use Mother's California Gold Ceramic Spray Wax. Also have that in the garage. Might be using that, but I think I'm probably just do the ceramic spray and rinse this weekend. Wash and protect in one step before road trips. Long summer drives being less time for a multi-stop routine. A ceramic infused wash and wax cleans while laying down protection in a single pass, so cars can stay road trip ready. Another recommended Mother's California Gold Ceramic Wash and Wax. Correct sun-driven swirls and oxidation before protecting. Heat and UV exposure accelerate oxidation and swirl marks, especially on cars parked outside all summer. Correcting the surface first helps any ceramic protection applied afterward bond better and look its best. That you can use Mother's California Gold Ceramic Paint Correction. Now that does help if you have swirl marks already, but if you don't, I wouldn't recommend that one. It's a little abrasive sometimes, and it might actually damage the paint, especially if you don't have as many issues as some people do. But if you can notice it, that'll definitely help. Keep wheels cool, plain, and grime resistant. Hot pavement and summer road grime bake onto wheels fast, making brake dust and buildup harder to remove. The same Tutler ceramic spray coating that protects paint also works on wheels and trim, repelling grime before it sets. That you can use Mother's California Gold Ceramic Spray and Rinse. I've never used that on my wheels. I think I might try that this weekend. Again, it depends on the weather because it's been really hot, and when it's not hot, it's raining. But I do have a plan to try and get on there this weekend because I know I need to wash my truck, and I haven't done that in a long time. So definitely time to get done. I'm feeling better, and always good to go out there and get some work done on your own personal vehicle. So, what's your big weekend plan for this upcoming weekend? I try to anyway, but this time of year, again, it's a little too warm. I know you mentioned the lake there. You've got there's a unlimited hydroplane race taking place in Washington State this weekend. They had the first part of it last weekend. They've got another part this weekend, so that could be interesting. That's the one that Jimmy Johnson exhibition run in last year. So that's kind of cool. Down here, I don't think there's as much going on this weekend. Again, it's a little warm. There's a lot of inside stuff going on. Like the movies will be big this weekend, especially with the new Spider-Man movie coming out, which is kind of interesting. Um, might end up heading out there. It depends on the on timing and all that. But it should be good. I am getting ready for our next big trip, which will be about a month from now. In fact, heading up to Universal for Halloween Horror Nights. That I've been covering a little bit on the for Rob Plum's Fantastic Finds. You can find more information on that. I do have a podcast coming out about that in about 7 days from now. So be sure to look into that. But also this weekend, I'll be posting a little bit of more news about that. Now they do have a lot of announcements they've made about that, so it should be really cool. The latest news, of course, is the Ozzy Osbourne house, which I don't know how that'll go. I've heard rumors about certain aspects of it that seem interesting, and then other ones, it's only so much you can do with that. But it should be really cool, and I think the fact that it's a year since Ozzy Osbourne's passed away, and they've got full support and authorization from his family, and so that will be interesting. Are you planning on heading any of the big Halloween events out there? I know you've headed over to the Silverwoods theme park before. They've got the Scarywood thing coming up I believe it's the end of next month, maybe the beginning of September when that starts. That's that's something. It is. A lot of people trying to pretend like they could be the ghost of Kurt Cobain in Flannel Fest. That would work. Okay. But the big news, of course, in motorsports this past week have been the fallout regarding IHRA. I don't have any inside information on that anymore. I've tried to reach out to a few different people, but it just seems like a bad deal. The fact that that some of the tracks have started to pull away from the IHRA now, the fact that the IHRA in Australia and New Zealand is no longer going to integrate fully with the full International Hot Rod Association thing, and they're going to be doing their own thing still, which has worked really well for them recently. So hopefully they keep going with that. But it's just sad that because the IHRA in its heyday, and it has had a few good heydays, was awesome. When we talked to them several years ago, and they had the Nitro Jam thing that was really cool. And this year they tried to have a bunch of things like that, and it seemed like it was going well, and then it just sort of fell apart. I know there's a lot of money involved in that, and I know the expenditures that were made by the guy who was in charge of the IHRA or was in charge of the IHRA. They are, but they're long-term expenditures, and he knew that going into it, and he should have planned better. Hopefully, they get something worked out. I know that motorsports always has a way of figuring itself out, especially their grassroots people, and that's what a lot of the IHRA guys and most of the NHRA, for that matter, are. So hopefully, they're able to work it out, and hopefully, they're able to keep going. We'll see how that goes in the future, but they did have a lot of great events on their calendar, and now it's not. And the NHRA has its own set of issues, as we talked about before, but they're plugging along too, and hopefully next year with their Year of the Force thing, that'll be cool. But they have some issues with filling field as well. I know that and some of the technology issues are just insane. The high speed is just really, really high, especially for the top fuel, but the fine cars as well. So um, they definitely have some issues. I think as we did last week, we had a lot of NHRA and IHRA news. So hopefully the NHRA is able to work things out, and the IHRA is able to work out their issues as well. It'll be a long off season for them, of course, but we'll see if anything pops up next year. I know there's been a lot of talk lately about different investors who are trying to come in and change it. So we'll see how that goes. Again, the people are they've they've pulled out. Like I shared a little bit with you as well. The fact that there were people complaining that the IHRA was a an awesome thing, and it was all just they made it fall apart. That's not true. IHRA's had so many issues over the past several years, and he was trying to rebuild it, and he was doing the best job he could. It just didn't happen to work. So and it's had issues for years, but then I think that the fact that the one guy was buying up all these different series that have had their own issues, the International Hot Rod Association being the main one, but he was also investing in powerboat racing. He was investing in stock cars. He worked with Jeremy Mayfield a little bit in the stock car series, which is kind of cool. No matter what your opinion of Mayfield is, he's always been a rather good racer. So he did some. They've had some good ideas. It just didn't seem like it worked out as well as they hoped. And hopefully, again, some of those ideas can continue on with whatever the IHRA comes up with in the off season, whether it's a new owner or a different idea of how to get the season going with the sportsman racers or whatever. It's definitely a transition year again for the IHRA, and some of that will transfer over to the NHRA as well. But hopefully, it all works out. There's also been some news, of course, in NASCAR. Not only the fact that the number 48 will be racing in under Jimmy Johnson's control in Daytona, but the fact that Alex Bowman, it'll be his last year next year, his last full-time year as a driver. He's going to be retiring rather early, but that does happen every so often with people like Carl Edwards, who's retired early as well. But Carl Edwards, of course, had a lot more success than Bowman, but Bowman's done pretty well on his own. So that'll be something to have Alex Bowman leave the series next year. There's rumblings about other drivers who are leaving as well. I think that with the untimely death of Kyle Busch this year, that made a lot of them look at the sport and look at the fact that they're not getting any younger, and the danger is there, and they're not spending as much time with their families and all that. So it'll definitely be another different year for NASCAR next year. There's even rumors, of course. There's always rumors that people who've been in the sport for an extended period of time are going to be leaving, but you never know. So it'll be something, and it'll definitely be a good year for NASCAR next year. But there are a lot of changes around, and the drivers will be shifting around some of the cars, and that'll be in the news shortly. I'm going to go ahead and cover some of that. But if you look up the Bob Pockrass there, he's been covering the latest news about that, so you can check that out on X. He's really good about posting that. So it'll be something. There's always the chance Denny Hamlin could announce he's going to be leaving next year as well. He's thought about that before, but you never know. I know there's going to be a lot of changes coming in the next couple of years in NASCAR, so that's something. Another big thing that they announced this week was IndyCar. IndyCar has their new car coming out in 2028. Now that'll be a little bit different looking. It doesn't look as different as some people were hoping. There was a thing in the past, of course, the Delta Wing option there for IndyCar, but that just sort of flew out the window. So now it looks like they're going with more of like a Formula 2 looking car, which is it's okay. It's a little bit different than what it is now, but it's not, like I said, it's not quite as different as what some people were reporting before. But it will definitely give them a little bit more space for the power plant, which they're hoping for. It'll make it a little bit more efficient for a little more safe for the cars and the drivers, which is really what they were looking at. Unfortunately, it might slow them down, and that's another thing that some people, staunch supporters of IndyCar, especially in the super speedways, will not be happy about if they end up going slower at places like Indianapolis than they've gone in the past. Remains to be seen what that actually happens, but that is what the current thought is, that the new IndyCar will be slower than the current generation. So, well, those sort of things, it just seems like people the cars reach a certain speed, and track owners and that sort of thing, insurance people, especially people who insure the tracks, get scared. That is what's happening in NHRA, I'm certain, which is why they're changing some of the stuff there for next year. The intakes for the pro stocks and that sort of thing are changing, and it's just a different thing. Some people understand the fact that you can't keep going faster and faster and faster and faster, and other people look at it and say, why aren't these people going faster? They went faster 5 years ago. They went faster 10 years ago. They went faster 20 years ago. So it all depends on how you look at it. But as long as the competition is still there, as long as they're still going fairly quick, I think it's good. But there's a good side and a bad side to all of this, and we'll see. Only time will tell how well it goes. At least there's currently no additional power plants that are coming into the sport for IndyCar. They have looked at that in the past, but right now it looks like they're going to heat the two, at least for right now. There have been some developments in Europe with some of the different manufacturers who've decided to alter their future in motorsports, but as of right now, that sort of thing hasn't spread as far as it could. But we'll see how that goes in things like IMSA, which might have an impact in the future with changes in cars as well. Although the interesting thing about that is Ford next year is going to have their hypercar come out in Europe. Hopefully Ford brings the hypercar over to the United States, in which case, of course, it becomes a Grand Touring prototype, but that'd be cool to see. I know that that Porsche has definitely drawn down their hypercar program, so maybe Ford will pick up the slack from that. That'll be interesting. We'll see how that goes. It does. Those are a lot more like the prototypes. And that's sort of, I think some of the drivers aren't happy about that. I know some of the drivers aren't happy about that. Some of the teams they think it's a good change. So it'll definitely be a big difference. Like I was saying before, though, I think that they made a mistake when they didn't go with a Delta Wing car. When the Delta Wing was put out there several years ago as the future of IndyCar, I think that would have been cool. Those are amazing cars. They looked really, really neat when they ran in IMSA for several years, and that would have been a really awesome way to change for IndyCar. Would have been neat looking. Would have been fast in Indianapolis too. Would have been awesome to see that. And it's always a constant evolution. I think that they are chasing safety a lot, especially with the cockpits now that are mostly enclosed. So a lot of different changes, and some of them are better, some of them are just changes. It seems like, but there's always something, and hopefully they end up working out in the future for them. So we'll see how that goes. Again, if you are one of our international listeners, and like I said, we've got an awful lot of amazing international listeners now. We'd love to hear from you. See what your favorite motorsports are in your neck of the woods. There, I know there's a lot of amazing motorsports out there, especially in places like the Russian Federation, which unfortunately we don't hear enough about anymore. I know that they do have a lot of racing out there. I follow Mikhail Aleshin. I've actually had a chance to interview him in the past. He's an awesome dude. So that was neat to see what he's doing. He's racing Mercedes now in Europe there. So most of it in Russia, but he's got some races in the Middle East he's been in, and I think he's been in a couple of races in France. So again, there's a lot of amazing racing out there in the world, and we'd love to touch on that for you. So go ahead and get in contact with us. We'd love to share your information. On next, I believe it's either next Tuesday or the following Tuesday, I'm going to go ahead and put out another Two Wheel Tuesday post with the podcast there, the Thursday today, Thunder today, Thursday today. But that will be out on, I believe, either next Tuesday or possibly the following Tuesday. And that'll have all different motorcycle news and information there. There's a lot of news taking place in the two-wheel world of motorsports, so be sure to check that out. Should be a really good program. I've got the script in hand, and it's getting put together as we speak. So there's also some other podcast things I'm working on for the future. So hopefully you guys have listened to them. Today, I actually spent a lot of time, well, not a lot, but I spent some time organizing the podcast section of my YouTube page at youtube.com/4plums. So be sure to check out episodes of this podcast on there, as well as other news and racing information. I've got a lot of podcasts on there that can be found on the podcast tab of youtube.com/4plums. Be sure to check that out. There's 57 shows listed there right now. So should be a really good thing. I actually had a couple new subscribers on YouTube today. So if you're happening to listen to this program on there, thank you very much. We love your support. And be sure to tell all your friends to get your latest news and information about the world of modern motorsports by listening to Thursday Night Thunder, following Thunder Today, or listening to any of the other various podcasts we're putting out, or following my motorsports news and views at wordpress.com, which unfortunately has not been updated quite as much as I'd like, but it will be updated a little bit more in the next few days with a lot of different news on there. So, should be a really good weekend of racing. I know that there is not much action taking place in NASCAR this weekend, so that is not the big thing this weekend, but there are other races taking place soon around the country. Hopefully it's a good weekend for that. I know it's been, again, warm pretty much everywhere. There's fires around now that are unfortunately making it difficult for some people. So hopefully you're not in one of those sections and everything is good for you. Again, we'd like to thank you very much for listening tonight, and we'll go ahead and wrap up the show for this week. Be sure to check out past episodes of Thursday Night Thunder by visiting facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder. I worked on updating that a teeny bit today as well. Listen to previous episodes of the show at Thursday Night Thunder Podcast.podbean.com. You can also find the show on iHeartRadio, Boomplay, Spotify, Player FM, as well as youtube.com/4plums, or anywhere you find your favorite podcast. We're on there now. I can pretty much guarantee it. If you'd like to support the show, be sure to check out the fan club feature on the Podbean app. Visit facebook.com/SD Thursday Night Thunder for more details about that. I also invite you to check out my racing news site at motorsportsnewsandviews.wordpress.com. All of my podcasts are listed there, as well as any articles I've posted recently. I haven't posted a few, but I have posted some. And again, there'll be more posted this weekend. I'm actually working on a few profiles for that. Some good information will be coming your way about possibly about some past guests we've had on this show, as well as other news and information. So be sure to check out motorsportsnewsandviews.wordpress.com. In addition, if you're a fan of South Florida and who isn't, be sure to check out the latest news and information about our slice of paradise on my travel blog, 4plums Fantastic Finds, which we found on Facebook at 4plums Fantastic Finds, on X at PB Happening, and by heading to 4plums Fantastic Finds as FABORPLUMBS fantasticfinds.wordpress.com. Have a great night, and thanks again.